The war in Ukraine has taken everyone by surprise. While the stock and crypto markets are down during this time of uncertainty, my $110,000 Fundrise portfolio is actually up 0.3% in 2022. However, with Fundrise Q1 returns approaching in less than a month, will we see a loss for the first time ever? Or is Fundrise resilient to the fog of war? Coming up. If you're new to the channel, my name is Trey, and I'm a long-term investor in stocks, crypto, and real estate. If you enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and check out my entire Fundrise playlist linked down in the description below. It has over 30 videos on everything and anything you need to know before, during, and after investing with Fundrise. Now, let's get started. Since Fundrise is a crowdfunding real estate investing platform, any effect of the war on real estate will have direct effect on our investments. So, let's evaluate some direct and indirect effects of war on real estate and see how it translates to our Fundrise returns. One of the biggest consequences of the war in Ukraine so far has been a steep rise in oil and therefore gasoline prices due to the sanction imposed by both Russia and the rest of the world. In some parts of Europe, 1 gallon of gas costs as much as $10, and in some US cities as high as $7. Diesel fuel, which is used by most trucks and heavy construction equipment, is even more expensive. Sanctions against Russia and Russia's retaliation also caused prices of metal, such as nickel, to almost double in price in just a month. As you have probably figured out, construction of real estate uses both diesel fuel for heavy machinery as well as metals for construction itself. So, what does this mean? Well, higher diesel and metal prices will make the cost of developing new land by land developers much higher. That, combined together with higher lumber and construction material costs, will increase the amount of money land developers would need to borrow from Fundrise in order to build new real estate complexes. The more money Fundrise lends out, the more money they will get back in interest, and the higher our dividend return will be. So, this is good for the investors as long as the cost of developing land doesn't get too high. If the cost gets overly high, then land developers may default on their loans, and that would lead to losses on our end. But Fundrise doesn't only make profit from interest collected on the loans that they give out. Fundrise also purchases many residential, single-family homes and commercial properties in an up-and-coming neighborhoods. They reimagine them, improve them, and either rent them out or sell them once the property appreciates in value. This is where our returns from appreciation come from. Rising costs of gas and materials would have Fundrise spend more money on renovating, building, and improving the properties, which of course will cut into the potential profits that can be obtained. Due to this decreasing operating margin, there will be less returns for investors to go around. However, this problem can be neutralized if Fundrise is able to sell their properties at an increased price to consumers. It is important to remember that the population in the United States and the whole world in general is increasing, and people will always need housing first. No one wants to live on the street. Therefore, even with increased housing prices, people will have no choice but pay for it. Again, it is important to know that if prices increase so much that people aren't able to pay for rent or buy a house, then the concept of supply and demand will kick in, and Fundrise will be stuck with a lot of inventory, which they would then have to sell at a lower price. That in turn would cut into profits or even possibly cause losses for Fundrise investors. Over long time horizons, Fundrise delivers somewhere between 8 and 12% yearly return. After a magnificent 2021, 2022 so far has been a disappointment with just a 0.3% return in the first 4 months. The first quarter comes to an end on April 15th, and my prediction is that we will see a smaller than usual returns. I believe we will see a 1.1% return in appreciation and a 0.3% in dividends for the first quarter, making for a total of 1.4%. Due to war in Ukraine, I would have to lower my expected return for 2022 from between 8 and 12%, as I mentioned in January of 2021, to just somewhere between 4 and 8%. I'm hoping for an amazing second half of 2022, and if no new COVID-19 strains cause a major disruption, we can be setting ourselves up for a great holiday season. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're new to Fundrise and are interested in opening an account, then use the link down in the description below, which will give you a 90-day advisory fee waiver. I will see you in the next one. Take care.